Agut Moed Raboisai. This is Nishmas Mordechai. Welcome. I believe maybe 50% of the people in the sukkah right now are guests. So Shalom Aleichem to all 50%. Probably won't call you out today just because there's so many. B'li Ein Hara, a lot of new faces. Even you sitting next to the guy with the pink shirt. You're the guy with the pink shirt. Shkoyach. He's not so new. He comes once a year. His brother's here on the other side. Gewaldige stuff. Where are you from, by the way? Where? Neve Yaakov. Shalom Aleichem. What's your name? Chaim? Weiser. Shalom Aleichem. I'm not going to call anybody else out. Velsky. Shalom Aleichem. Gewaldig. They could go, oh! Did you bring him? How did you bring Shulim? Did you bring a chayfetz? I need him. What are you going to bring him tomorrow? Every day I put the picture in everything. He's leaving today? Bring him, tell him to get in a taxi right now. Bemis. Where is he? Could you tell him to come? Tell him to come, but he has to come within a half hour so I can bring him in the middle share. It's a big chizuk, big chizuk, massive chizuk. You don't understand? Every day, Sholem, every day I put the picture in, every day. All right, Rabbi Isai, thank you very much for coming to the sukkah. I have to say a tremendous akar satov to all the people involved. I might forget some names, but first of all, Tomer Levy, who headed all the breakfasts. It's a few day preparation, this thing. We have all the waiters. These are guys that do the daf. When you see these bachurim, these are people kids from the daf that do the daf every single day. Akiva is leading them. So Yishkoyach Akiva with all the other boys is Shlomo Forchheim, who's a yeshiva guy. He learns in yeshiva doila, does the daf with us every single day. Is this what I want to show the olam? Check this out just for a second. If you're in America, this is just to explain to you what's going on here today. This is the sukkah. This I took myself this morning. The washing station, Geshmak, the bagels, the different spreads, the pancake station. There's an omelet station with Eitan Ogerek, Yishkoyach Eitan, also part of this year. And this is the cold brew coffee station. I'll show you how to reach him soon. And this is the salad station, the lox, all the gevaldik. This is mamish gevaldik. There's wine on the table. It's all matzav. You should have seen the shir yesterday. Half the amount of people. So if anybody thought that I'm on some sort of high, that people come for the shir, I know the MS. But Yishkoyach for coming anyways, really appreciate it. I cannot forget this. I forgot this yesterday. Check this out. Rabbi Isai, don't forget. This week, we're starting Bereshis. And we still have about 250 Chumashim, a special MDY Shnai Mikra edition. I think it's basically for people in America. I don't think it's going to get here to Eretz Yisrael, although I don't know. But this is to remind the English-speaking people in America that if you go over here, you can sign up and get a free Chumash sponsored by Mirad Nakash back in the day. He gave out hundreds of them. It's a special Shnai Mikra V'echad Targum Chumash. And many people told me that it's their very first time doing Shnai Mikra, or they were Messiah Shnai Mikra. It all has to do with the daf. Why? Because the daf breeds good habits. That is the number one thing I think about the daf, that it gives you new habits. It teaches you how to create a habit that lasts. And when you start this week, it's a tough one because you only have a day or two to do it. Right after Simchas Torah, you have to start. Once they lay in Bereshis, then you could start. It's a tough one, but then it gets much easier. So Be'ezer Hashem, try to create a new habit. It's only, for me, it takes about 8 minutes a day. And that's it. It's not a big investment. Rabbi said we have the Belskis with us, Abe and Zevi, the ones who donated the chairs. And this is Mati Belsky's sukkah, beautiful sukkah. Check this out. He's learning the daf. He even has a poster in the background. And this is his sukkah. It's a gorgeous sukkah. So I want to read a few emails. It's Yontif, so I'm going to allow myself to go overboard with the emails. I like to share something truly inspiring about someone very dear to me, Baruch Shulman, who's celebrating his 24th birthday today. Baruch was born in Minsk, Belarus, to a secular family. This is Baruch Shofnos speaking. Baruch, where's Baruch over here? I saw him. Here he is. I don't want to scare anybody, but if you're not parked legally, they are giving out tickets right now. So Baruch, do you see him on video? Dave? Baruch is right over here. He's 6. Look, I want you to notice his beard. Notice that beard, and I'm going to show you a picture of him when he was much younger. He spent many years in Belarus. I was there just a few months ago with Gary and Benny and a few guys. When we went to the Chavetz Chaim, we were in this place that he's talking about. And it's not a very geschmacka place to live, if you know what I mean. Anyone that's not parked legally, they're getting tickets right now. I said it on the thing, yeah. At the age of 12, he joined the Yad Yisrael camp and then attended school in Pinsk. He started learning Mishnayos and Amud Beis at the same time when he was 12 years old. He had the bris the same week as his bar mitzvah. This kid had a bris and a bar mitzvah in the same week. Baruch made a significant life decision, choosing to give up a promising future in competitive shooting with dreams of competing in the Olympics. So he chose to become a frumiyad over the Olympics, and there's a picture of him soon, you'll see, winning a big award in shooting. In order to keep Shabbos and attend Jewish school, 3.5 hours drive from home, that's why he had to give that up. He spent several years learning yeshiva in Farakwa, and today he's in Lakewood, deeply committed to learning the daf with MDY since Baba Kama. And now busy recruiting new participants for Sanhedrin. Unbelievable, Gevaldik. Reflecting on the incredible journey Baruch has made gives me the chizuk, and in honor of his birthday, I wanted to share his story with you, hoping it can inspire others as well. Happy birthday, Baruch. Keep up the amazing work. Attached here are pictures from his championship in shooting, where he set a junior record right after his bris at my house in Pinsk. That's the picture you'll see of Baruch without a beard. Today he's a choshev. He's always choshev. It's mamish, one of the gems of MDY. The famous one that I didn't even pay attention, that he was in the share for 2 years. That's how quiet he is. He's very, very unassuming. He also came with us on the trip, helped us a tremendous amount with the KGB and everything, schmooze with them. And at the MDY share he attended in the US last year, these are the pictures. Here he is, the birthday boy with his medal. Here he is at his bar mitzvah with Baruch Shofnos on the right. And here he is, so I guess he looks something like this. Today he's 24 years old, with MDY, doing the daf. Unbelievable. Yishkoyach Gadol. I want to show you this. This is a person at a Mordechai ben David concert yesterday. He obviously doesn't chap the godless of Mordechai ben David. But this is one of these serious guys. It's like, you remember that Rav that brought his children to a soccer game in England, but he's busy at the goal, he was learning. You had to be Mekayim, the mitzvah of taking your kids to a place on Yontif. And here he is. No, it's not working. So, yeah, but it's a video. Could you push the video? No? So maybe I just put the picture in by mistake. Okay. There's a Gishmaka picture of him. Now, another very good email from Yisrael Sher, who's sitting over here live. I like this email a lot. In the next few days, I'll be celebrating my second daf anniversary. When people say that joining the daf has changed their lives, you always ask how. Below is a list of some of the ways that changed my life. 1, consistency, commitment to learning every day. And like I mentioned before, it brings consistency in so many other areas, even in non-Jewish things, like working out. Once you chap that you can be consistent and you make it a habit and it becomes part of it, then you realize you can do shnai mikra, you can work out. How many people here try to do exercise every day, and after a week it helps in many other places in life. Reminders throughout my day, things come up that remind me of things we learn. Daily change, starting every day with Torah, changes the way my day goes by. Wife and children, they see me and how joining the daf has transformed my life. They see how it transformed my life. This has changed their lives too. Enjoyment, Learning in such an engaging way makes it fun to learn. Accomplishment. Finishing Mesechtes gives me a strong sense of accomplishment. There are people who say that the daf has not changed their life, but look, you'll go through thing by thing, and you'll see it has changed people's lives in many different areas. My 2 little daughters, listen to this, Rabbi, you're going to love this. Mendy, get off your phone for a second. My 2 little daughters love watching the daf with me when I'm catching up. The other one has said to me on multiple occasions that one day she's going to marry a Talmud Chacham like, good morning, Rabbi Isai. I give her a bracha, she should marry a real Talmud Chacham, emes of a Talmud Chacham, Be'ezer Hashem. Not like good morning, Rabbi Isai. I've tried doing the daf many times in the past and never managed to get through more than a few weeks before quitting. Surprisingly, a trick to skip now, catch up later has been a game changer for me. The first seam I made when I joined MDY was the first seam I made in over 20 years. The emails, the jokes, the stories, the slides, the clips, they all add into one picture that completes the amazing learning experience, and that is what keeps me engaged and connected. This is how it continues to change my life. Thank you, and thank you to all your staff for the dedication and making sure all of this happens. Here's the staff for boys right up here. This is what goes on behind the scenes. Here you see it on the scenes. You need at least 3 of them to manipulate those buttons. They're like pilots. There's a lot of buttons and there's a lot of stuff going on. And just like an aircraft cannot fly from Eretz Yisrael to America with one pilot, so too the shir cannot go without just one pilot. And Mela, here they are. P.S. See the attached video. When are you giving a shir in Chinese? I try to get them to join. Over here you'll see a video of him and his Chinese chevra. He does construction management. I was going to ask you for a bracha, but per your request, I will not. Instead, I'll give you a bracha that Hashem should give you and your family nachas, health, and parnassa. I just thought about something. People say that on your birthday, you have the ability to give brachas. I have no idea where they got it from, but it became a thing. But I will say that a person who has a daf anniversary, he could give brachas. That I know. A guy who's been with the daf for 2 years, on his daf anniversary, he has a much bigger koyach than a guy that just has a birthday because he was born how many years ago. I don't know where it says in the Svarim. Maybe you can find it. I don't know. Show it to me. Where did you get it from? Maybe. But Yabi Omer also says that if you do the daf with Eli Stefansky for 2 years, you have the ability to give brachas. I was going to ask you, in the Guy Videlio it says, I was going to ask you for brachas. Oh, Hashem should give you a family, nachas, health, and parnassa. Your Talmud since in the Dorim, Daf Zayin, Yisrael, Sher, Yishkoach Yisrael. Beautiful. And here he is with his chevra. Let's see if we can get it on.
1, 2, 3. Good morning, the boy side.
Gewaldig. All right. And here's the coffee, if anybody's interested. And this is from Fishel. About 40 people, a lot of people signed up, but 40 are eligible. So that's $40,000, Be'ezer Hashem, that's going to come out of his pocket. We're hoping to get Fishel to pay up $3 million. So if you know anybody, I'm hoping. From California, Florida, Illinois, Maryland, New Jersey, New York, Colorado, Washington, would love to get some more before Yontiv. So if you know anybody that's eligible, please send them. The Paris HaMesechta, for the safe and speedy return of all the hostages, and Mirat Hashem, we should have Psurus Toivus b'Mehera. Parnassa Chodesh, Nishmas Chaya b'Moshe, Nishmas Chaya b'As Yosef. Parnassa Chodesh, health and strength for Rav Eli, Yisher Koyach. The Lak family, Lakewood NJ, because Torah is the best Segula. It is. Yosef and Chaya Sara for Parnassa Berevach. I'm telling you, we say it again. Torah is the best Segula. What does it mean? If a person has an issue, if a person needs a bracha, instead of getting on a plane and flying to somebody's caver, open up a Gemara and learn a Daf Gemara. I promise you, it's the best Segula. Parnassa Shavua, Golden Dove Alert, Fishel and Family in honor of my favorite Shvigger, Mrs. Raiselle Snow of Detroit, joining the great-great-grandmother's club. Wow. Great-great-grandmother, Mazel Tov. May she earn her entry many times over till 120. The shaila is if this great-great-grandmother is eligible to do her son-in-law's deal, joining the daf and getting $1,000. I don't know. We have to ask Fishel. Jeff Rosner, the Nishmas Pele Yoetz, Lili Nishmas, the Pele Yoetz, Rav Eliezer ben Rabbi Yitzchak Papo. And somebody sent me an email. He said, "How come you didn't mention the Rav's yahrzeit?" And he said he was a big shtacher back in the day. He used to send these very, very sharp emails. It's a big part of the shir. And he said, "Oh, it's because you don't like YU or something." He says, "Shtach." It happens to be that you could ask Leon Welcher. He always sends me beautiful pieces of Divrei Torah from the Rav. I loved the Rav when I was in Passaic. We used to learn from the Rav's Sefer on Sukkah, one of my favorite Sfarim actually. And I don't know about all the politics. I was born after the whole thing, and I don't care. I love him as a person. I love his Torah. I love his Yiddish. Beautiful shiurim. If anybody wants to see on YouTube, unbelievable stuff. So you're wrong again. Remember the shtacher? What was his name? He used to have a name. His name was Shtacher. Like he used to. Bernie the Bird. Who said that? That's right. Who's that? Oh, Jonathan Stefansky. Bernie the Bird. That's who it was. Bernie from Odi'in. And you're wrong again. Sorry. The Parnassa Yoim, Yosef album Lezchut. My grandfather, Ramord Chesavitsky, was very, very friendly with him. They both lived in Boston together. So he doesn't know what he's talking about. Yosef album Lezchut Velirfוא Shlema Bini Hayel Yaakov ben Leah. Shover nituach hayom baboker. You should have a refuah shlema by Baruch Shofnos in honor of Baruch Shulman's birthday today. Very proud of you. Keep it up. Mamish, we don't. I read this email. We don't chap the sacrifice that these kids are in Belarus. They're in the middle of Goyishville. You don't even understand what's going on there. It's Noirvaim, and the connection to Yiddishkeit is so small. And people like Baruch go and dedicate their lives. He was there for I think 9 years. How many years, Baruch? How many? 16 years in Belarus. You have no musik. You have to see a picture of what it looks like. Then you chap. Anyways, and these boys, why is it off now? Okay. And these boys also sacrificed tremendous, and they should go mechayel choyel mamish, learning, finishing mesachos. The art of the month for Zchus, for Rebellion, and the whole MDY staff to continue to make Torah so enjoyable. How many minutes are we already going?
22.
Wow. Okay. Rabbi Isai, I want to play a game with the Olam, and here are the rules. It's like Fishel. Fishel had a whole team of lawyers making up the rules. I also had I have some rules. I want to give out 100 shekel to anybody that answers the question. It's a simple question. But the rule is that you cannot have learned the daf before, and you cannot have heard it from me yesterday. I asked the question in the Hebrew shir, and if you happen to know the answer, raise your hand instead of screaming it out, because I don't want people to cheat. 100 shekel right now. We say every single day in Oz Yashir. Tivi Moi Visita Moi. What does the word Tivi Moi mean? Tivi Moi. Tivi Moi. We say it every single day. Hold on, we have an answer. One say, okay, he has his hand up. Wait a minute. Who else? We say every day in Oz Yashir. Huh? The Rosh Chayil says he doesn't manage to get there. It happens to be that no matter what, even though the Mishnah Berurah doesn't bring it down, I have a special love for Oz Yashir. So even when I'm late, so I say Ashrei, the whole thing, the few halukas that the Mishnah Berurah brings, but also Oz Yashir. New, anybody? Don't be so embarrassing. We have 100 people in the sukkah, and 3 people know what they say every day. Shalom Rand. He just wants to shout out. He has no idea what I asked. Givaldi. I'm asking for 100 shekel. What does Tivei Moi mean? Tivei Moi. Okay, David. 1 minute. You know all the stuff all the time.
10-year-old.
That guy.
Whoa, that kid?
No, that guy.
No. So get up on your seat and say. Get up on your seat. Get up and say. Who's that? Berg? I see the yarmulke. I have no idea what it is, but I guessed well. It's Berg. His father, a big tzaddik who. Okay, Mazeh. What is he saying? Somebody say what he's saying. Lavi? Lavi ma?
Bamba.
Hold on. Anybody else? Raise your hand. No, you.
Bring them.
Then? What? Who's saying it? Who's saying it?
I'm sure.
No, who's talking? Who's talking? Moshe Rabbeinu? Klal Yisrael? Taviotam. Good. I hear. Good. Anybody else agree with that? What do you say?
Moshe is saying that Hashem should bring them because he knows he's not going to tell Israel.
But he should say Oh, Moshe Rabbeinu saying it? No, this was Klal Yisrael saying it. Klal Yisrael was saying it.
They're talking about themselves in the third person.
Who said that? They're talking about themselves in third person. Bring us? Okay. It's wrong, but okay. Next. What are you saying? All the way at the back over there. Refuah Shleima, he's back. He had surgery on his foot. He's walking. Baruch Hashem. You know what he's saying? Ma? Bring themselves? Okay. You're saying like he said. Moed, Maza. Maza. How did he open it? He goes everywhere. No, it's on a status now. Okay, anyway. So who answered? What? Who else? Okay, you. Scream. The Malachim are saying, what are they saying? Bring them to Eretz Yisrael. Okay. So the answer is, like he said, Tivi'ei Moi means bring them. Tivi'ei Nu means bring us. Tivi'ei, yeah, here, 100 shekel for you, 100 shekel for him, 100 shekel for everybody. Give them out.
The thing was wrong.
Yeah. The pshat is wrong, but the taich is right. I didn't really ask for pshat as much as taich. The taich is, just to understand the word, Tivi'ei Moi, we say it every day, so let's try to remember what it means. Tivi'ei Moi, bring them into Eretz Yisrael. Klal Yisrael saying it, not the Malachim. Klal Yisrael saying it about, not them, because they never made it into Eretz Yisrael. They're saying it about the next generation. Hashem, bring them into Eretz Yisrael. They didn't know what they said. It was a nevuah. What are you looking in the Gemara, David? I said, no, bring them into Eretz Yisrael. Here, pass this down forever. Answer the answer. One for the bacher in the back with the leg. Just because you don't know pshat. All right, Zok the Gemara. We're on the last line of Kuf Yud Ches Amud Beis. Oh, Rabbi Isai, I forgot. Hakoras Atoiv to Mordechai Sapaznik, who donated $1,500 for this breakfast. How could I forget? Nishmas Mordechai ben Shmuel, David Alevi Kleiman, Beis Neshama Leah, and maybe Meilitz Yosef, his entire Mishpach and Klal Yisrael. Mordechai Sapaznik also sponsored. It was like Yontif, last Shavuos. He sponsors food a lot, and he sponsored my printer. He sponsors just tremendous. The guy must be a millionaire, the amount of that he sponsors, but he's not. So Yishkoyach Gadol. So let's talk about what we had yesterday. Starts like this, Rabbi. You remember? We have a pasuk, Vayiplu Chavli Menashe Sara. It's talking about the shears of the land that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave Menashe. How many? Asara. And then we had the pasuk yesterday. How many heads of families were there in Menashe? 6. Eliezer, Chelik, Asriel, Shechem, Chefer, Shmida. So where do we come up with 10? We see in this pasuk 6. So what do we say? We explained yesterday. It must be here. It must be the 6 Batei Avos plus the few shears that Bnei Slavchad got. Now think about it. Bnei Slavchad are 2 generations removed from Chefer. You have the family, the heads of the family, the 6 brothers. Chefer is a grandfather of Bnei Slavchad. The father of Slavchad is Chefer. In other words, he had many, many descendants. So imagine that a big city the size of Bet Shemesh was given to Chefer. 6 brothers. Now, his grandchildren don't get a whole Bet Shemesh. They get, let's say, 1 apartment, 5 apartments each, whatever it is. It's broken down. So how do we make a cheshbon and say, oh, there's 10 pieces, 6 giant pieces for each head of the family, and generations later, 4 more pieces that went to the daughters of Tzlavchad. What's the connection? That's generations later, it's much smaller. How are you connecting the 6 large plots with 4 small plots? Yeah? Chefer's piece, the Bechaira, the Tzlavchad piece, but those are smaller parts. Says the Gemara, Karamai Choshev, Michael Choshev, Eat Falim Choshev, if it's counting all the children's pieces, all the Einiklach's pieces, Tuvahav, it's a lot more than 10 shares. It's hundreds. And if we're talking about the heads of the family, there's only 6 heads. Says Gemara, Daf Yomi Amud Aleph, we're talking about the heads of the family. This is the Chiddush. We're going to have this, we're going to talk about this for a little bit. We spoke about it a bunch before. We'll mention it again. There's a halacha, a muslikin shas called Ein B'char Noitel B'roi K'B'muchzak. Again, if a father, somebody owes him money, and the guy dies, they owe him $10 million and he dies, and at the funeral, the guy comes with the check and pays off the $10 million, the B'char does not get 2 shares of the $10 million. Why? Because it was roi. It's a possible income. It's not a muchzak. He's not holding on to it at the death. He has to be holding on to it at his death. So this Yerusha that Slavchad's daughters got, it's a possible Yerusha. Slavchad didn't have it when he died. It's something that came on later on. So the chiddush is that even though it's only a possibility, they get a share in it. They get the second share. They get the b'char. Why? Because it's not a possibility. When Hashem says, I'm going to give you a Yerusha, He gives you a Yerusha. It's not a possibility. It's muchzak. It's in your hands already. We have to view it as if it's in your hands. And we're going to see that halacha again in a moment. They got the chelik of the b'char. Alma Eretz Yisrael muchzekasi. Eretz Yisrael is considered as if you already held on to it, even though you didn't even come into Eretz Yisrael yet, and Yeshua didn't give it out yet. Amar Mar. We just learned that the Meraglim and the Misleinim, they didn't inherit a share in Eretz Yisrael. Who got their share? Yeshua and Kalev. So what about the sons of Yeshua, the Meraglim and the Misleinim? How did they get a share in Eretz Yisrael? They got their grandfather's share. And they also got their grandfather, paternal grandfather, maternal grandfather. Excuse me. But it says in a brayso that they got on their own account, not because of a Yerusha. It says in Orlei Kashio, Commando Omar Yoetz Mitzrayim, or Commando Omar Lebayaretz. We had a machlokes. Did those who left Mitzrayim get a Yerusha, or did those who came into Eretz Yisrael get a Yerusha? If you say those who came into Eretz Yisrael got a Yerusha, so the children of the Meraglim, they got their own chelik in Eretz Yisrael. Why? Because they came into Eretz Yisrael. Whoever walks into Eretz Yisrael gets a chelik. The fact that their father was a Rasha doesn't apply to them. Doesn't affect them. But if you say that those who came out of Mitzrayim got a Yerusha, then they didn't come out of Mitzrayim. And they shouldn't get anything. The only reason they got a Yerusha is because of their grandparents that came out of Mitzrayim. Let me just put this over here. Or we could say the pshat is that it's everybody holds that those who came into Eretz Yisrael got Yerusha. But Rashbam says over here, when I say that those who came into Eretz Yisrael got a Yerusha, I mean really the other shita of Reb Shimon ben Elazar, who says it's both. It's a combination. Not the shita that says that it goes backwards. It's both. If you came out of Eretz Yisrael, out of Mitzrayim, you get a nachla, and if you go into Eretz Yisrael, you get a nachla. Both. Ha dahava ben esrim, ha deloy ben esrim. So says the Rashbam another thing. We have to be talking about, we have to be talking about grandchildren. Why? Because make a cheshbon. The Meraglim, when did the whole Meraglim story happen? 2 years after coming out of Mitzrayim. How many years before they came into Eretz Yisrael? 38. If the Meraglim died right away, they did the spying, they came back, they spoke Lashon Hara, they died. If they had a child, then how old was this child when he got into Eretz Yisrael? At least 38, minimum. Even if he was born, if he was 1 day old, he had to be 38. Maybe he was even older than that. So we're talking about a kid that's not 20 years old, says the Gemara. He's not even 20. How does a Meragel have a kid that's not 20 years old coming into Eretz Yisrael? It's impossible. The only way he is, we're talking about a grandchild. Bnei Banim Areikim Banim. And I would think that maybe because they were descendants of the Meraglim, and everything goes backwards, so to speak, it goes up to Mitzrayim, down, back to Eretz Yisrael. It got stuck on the way by Meragel, and the Meraglim cut it off and it shouldn't go to their grandchildren. Maybe Kalev and Yeshua should inherit everything. Kamash Malon, they get a Yerusha. Now we already discussed this. It's Chazara. Why does Tzlafchad's daughters? Why do they get a share of Tzlafchad, who is a B'char? Why do they get a second share in their grandfather Chefer's Nechasim? It's only something potential. The father at his death did not hold on to any Chelik in Eretz Yisrael. We're talking about the pegs that hold a tent, meaning anything that's metaltalin. We're not talking about literally the pegs. We're talking about, it's a way to say metaltalin. We're not talking about real estate. We're talking about even everybody had a tent in the midbar. How do you sleep? You have to have a tent. How do you put a tent? So you can have the tent, it's also metaltalin, but you have the peg that goes into the ground. That's what they had Yerusha. That's the Roy. Chefer had a bunch of pegs, so the daughters of Tzlafchad got a few of the pegs. A guy told his friend, you heard, Leileno, my mother was nifter. So the guy goes, oy vey, what did she have? She had a 1-bedroom in Dimona somewhere. That's what she had. What did he, the Yerusha, big Yerusha? I have a few pegs. Okay, a few pegs of Chefer. But the real estate, that's Roy, that's only potential. At this point, the Gemara says that they didn't inherit. Only what was there at the time of death. Omer Rav Yudam Shmuel, Nisoidois, Oyhalim. Masav Rabba, Rav Yudah Omer B'nai Slavchad, Natlu Arba Chalakim. We had this whole thing. Remember, even the picture I showed you today was about that the daughters of Slavchad took 4 shares. The Mishnah says 3, and we're trying to find out what the 4th one was. And we said maybe they also inherited an uncle. But it's not, it's real estate. Chalakim. It doesn't talk about pegs. We're talking about chalakim. Shenemar vayiplu chavlei menasha Sara. What does a chevel mean? A rope. Why is it called ropes? Because that's how they used to measure. Remember, we had don't measure in the winter, don't measure in the summer with the same rope. It could expand. So they used to measure with ropes. Derech Agav, we have a guy in the shir, Eli Berkowitz. You guys know him? Part of the shir. So he said that he just went up to make, because we're talking about Oyholim, tents. He went up to the north and he built sukkahs for the chayalim. And somebody said, but your car stinks because of all the fires over there. His car literally stinks. He said, it's reach ha-mitzvah. It smells from the mitzvah. He went up there and he built oyhalim for the chayalim. Oh, I have to mention, a guy from the shir, Yol Steiner, who's a grandchild of Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky, his son, Elio, went up north today. So, he should come back in good health, with a tremendous accomplishment over there. Elio ben Yoel. Batzlacha. I have 2 nephews there. 2 nephews. My sister Adina, who's had her birthday 2 days ago, 50 years old. Her 2 sons up north. Zog Daily Gemara. Meisvei. Elo Marabo Eretz Yisrael Mugzakisi. So you must say that yes, the daughters of Tzlafchad inherited. Here's Akiva. Rabbi says, you see Akiva? He's standing by the door. He's waving. I don't know if the camera goes on him. Yeah. Oh, Akiva, higher. That's Akiva. He's the head waiter. He comes to shir at night, in the morning. He's all over, and he's running the show today. So Yishkoyach, Tomer behind the scenes. Oh, what? Lauren Spiegelman has a seat right over here. He usually sits to the right of me in the center. So how come he's outside? I don't know. You come late, you snooze, you lose, I guess. You came on time? You gave up your seat. There might be a seat here available, no? Stick a seat over here next to Remy. You wiggle your way in. It looks like there's a seat over there next to... No, who's that? That's somebody else. Okay. So Nachamal, I have to remind the Oilam. Number 1, don't forget to start Shnai Mikra V'Echad Targum in case you skipped the 18 minutes of emails today. My battery is running low. I'm about to lose my computer here. Do you have anything to plug in here? The other thing is that tonight, Be'ezer Hashem, there's going to be a su'uda in the sukkah. It's a Shana Rabbah tonight for the Hebrew shir. If you're just coming for the food, you know what I'm saying. I know many wives are very appreciative of all the sudas that we have here. They didn't have to cook anything for Yom Tov today and tomorrow. So tonight at 9 o'clock with music, the same guys going to be here and food. Tomorrow morning, because remember, don't say I didn't warn you. And if you don't know about this, that means you didn't listen to today's shir. Tomorrow morning, because of Ishana Rabbah and the longer davening, so shir is starting a half hour later than usual, at 10:30. Here in the sukkah, sponsored by Benti Novak. Now I want you to think about it. I say this lightly. Picture yourself setting up this entire thing all by yourself. Just picture it. Today we have guys in the running and coming, somebody, what's your name? The one that went to got locks yesterday from Yerushalayim. The locks was brought in yesterday. What's your name? Tell Eli your name. Ruvain Schwartz comes every day, comes to the English shir, to the Hebrew shir, picked up the locks from Yerushalayim. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. To take it upon yourself, and this is not the first time, take it upon yourself, to make shakshuka for 120 people, to make pasta for 120 people, to pick up the bagels yourself. He doesn't want help. No, I'm going to do it myself. His kids go out. To think about it, to set up the tables. I want you to think about it. Picture it in your mind. Who here in this room has the guts and the rotten to do it? I'd rather write a check for he does it himself with his own hands. It's an unbelievable thing. So, Zokti Gemara. Tomorrow, what time, Rabbi Sai? 10:30. Beisvei, Omer Abchitka, Shimon HaShikmoini. Also, I want you to think, we know that 24,000 Talmidim of Reb Kiva were nifter, 24,000 Talmidim during Sfira Saimer. What are their names? We know of the ones that survived. We know of the ones, the Rebuda, Remeah, the ones that brought Torah to Klal Yisrael. But have we ever heard of the 24,000 Talmidim? So here's one very rare case. Gemara brings the Talmud. Shimon HaShikmoini, Hoyali Chaver. He was my friend. And who was he? Mitalmid Rebbe Akiva. He was a Talmud of Rebbe Akiva. Shimon HaShikmoini Omer. Yedei Moshe. We have a little bit of a gat to Rabbi Yosef. Shema. Yedei Moshe Rabbeinu. I don't know. It's today Moshe Shpizin. Every day it's like we're off by a little bit. It was last night. It was yesterday. Yosef Tzadik. We're going through the Shpizin, almost hitting it. What? Today is for sure not Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu knew about Yerusha, that he knew that a girl inherits her father when there's no boys. He had the question that we were just discussing, do they get the 2 shears of a Bachar? Rabbi said we're about to see a Yisoid Gadol Moed, a Yisoid that we could just read through it and say, yeah, I got it, it's simple, and a Yisoid that we could sit and think about it for a moment. Moshe Rabbeinu knew this. So what happened? Truth is, just like the rest of the Torah is written through Moshe, the Parsha of Yerusha should have been written through Moshe. Ella, shezachu b'nei Slavchad. Slavchad had a special schos, v'nichteva yadan. They stood up. Embarrassing. They went into a beis medrash full of Gedolei Adar. As we're going to see soon, Moshe Rabbeinu was sitting there, Eliezer, the Nesiim, the Sanhedrin. And they scream out, we have a question. Why don't we get Yerusha with a taina, a good vart, a good chap? Because they did that. They stood up. There are the Yechidim, right? The Benti Novaks that stand up and do something. The doers. When you do something like that, for generations upon generations, millions of people throughout history are going to read the parsha of the Nachla from Bnei Slavchad. There are special people, as the Gemara is going to describe later on in Amud Beis. The Tzidkaniyos, the Chachamim, the Darshanim. El Shezachu Bnei Slavchad v'nichtava yadam. V'yodea Moshe Rabbeinu shamakoshish b'misa. We know Moshe Rabbeinu knew that the person that was Mechal Shabbos, Mr. Mekoshish, as we're going to see on Amud Beis, that it's very possible. Rebbe Kiva, Gedol HaTanayim says, who's the Mekoshish? No other than Slavchad, Bnei Slavchad's father, which is Slavchad himself. The Mekoshish was Slavchad. He's chayiv misa. What did he do? Shenemar mechalalei ma'isumas. He said in Mefurish in the Torah that if you desecrate the Shabbos, you mechal Shabbos, you get misa. What did he do? So machlokes over there in Gemara Shabbos Daf Tzadik Vav Beis, which describes the Mekoshesh. Either Mekoshesh, everybody understands that he cut wood. One Mandama says no, he gathered the wood. He was ma'amer. That's also Issa Deraisa. Another Mandama says he was metaltal the wood. He moved the wood from one place to one place. Reminds me, I was with Avi in Italy. Avi Kamianski together with Noam, and we were walking on Shabbos. And I'm saying this because a lot of times people don't realize where the Eruv is, where the Eruv finishes. And we were walking and we actually got to the tail end. They told us, they gave us a simon and we almost got confused. It's like within a foot or two. Like by the second bridge, that's it. That's all you can do. A lot of people don't know this. A lot of people, they go places and they go out of the tchum, they'll do 2,000 amma. You have to be aware of these things. The Mekoshesh is Mechal Shabbos. Or he cut wood. According to the third sheet, he cut the wood. He was Zoyvan Koitzer. He didn't know, does he get the most severe misa? What's the most severe misa? Skila. Or does he get a lesser misa called Chenek? And truth is, Moshe Rabbeinu should have written the whole parasha. But what happened was, because he was Mechal Shabbos Mekoshesh, let's say it's Slavchad, the parasha for generations upon generations is going to remind the world what he did. Lamdecha, to teach us, Daf Kufites on the base, and this is the aside that we should never forget. Shemegalgalim schos ayidei zakai v'choiva ayidei chayav. You're megalgal. It's a lashon of a tire, of a wheel, of a ball. When you do a schos, Hakadosh Baruch Hu gives you more schosim, and when you do a schos, then it goes into the Torah. The Torah talks about you. V'chayva, if a person does something terrible like Chilul Shabbos b'farhesia, then it's the reverse. It goes both ways. V'chayva dechayev, then you'll be known as the chiyuv. So the Chofetz Chaim says, why does the Gemara use a lashon of megalgalin? It should say meviim. When you do a schos, it brings another schos. Maybe. What's megalgal? The lashon of megalgal, so he says beautiful. He says, huh? Yeah, what does it mean? But why the lashon of Gilgal? Gilgal means it. I hear same kind of lashon, but what does it mean? So he says megalgal means when you have a ball and give it a little push, it keeps on going. If you have a square, you give it a push, it goes 2 inches and stops. A ball, you give it a push, it could go 10 feet, 20 feet, depends how hard you. When you do a mitzvah, it picks up momentum. You do a mitzvah, it just picks up and it brings more and it does more. So Yoshi was stuck. I went to Yerushalayim to see my father after the 9 o'clock shir. When I got back at 1:30 in the morning, I couldn't believe my eyes. You have to understand, if you're an American, to understand what people do not have cars here. A lot of people, a big tzibur, they're standing on the street waiting for many hours to catch a bus back home. They can't afford a taxi, and they wait for hours. I'm talking about hundreds of people per bus stop at 1:30 in the morning with 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, standing, ganze mishpachas, waiting and waiting. It's like almost the same people I saw when I went into my father's house, the same people waiting, same stramble, same thing. Just crazy what's going on. So Yoshi was telling me, he's like, I don't know if I can do art. I can't get out of Ashdod. He waited for over 2 hours at a bus stop and the buses come full. So I said, what do you mean? Get into a van right now. MDY will pay you. Get in and let's go. So he got in and he sent me this at 3:40 in the morning. This thing. I said, what should I do? I said, let's do something for Megalgal. So he did this. It's not Pasha. So hold on a second. I have to go back. So it's hard to see, but every one of these cars has another line on it. So the first one says, join Daf Yomi. So this is about a guy, and it came to me because Yisrael Goldstein, he had a baby girl yesterday, and he sent us, I think yesterday, the day before. I mentioned this year, no? And the guy that was sitting next to me, the Boider Park guy, came over to me after the year, and he said, I'm a grandchild of Yisrael Goldstein. I knew right away what he meant. He meant that Braun from the Matzah Bakery, Shimmy Braun, brought Boider Park, and Yisrael Goldstein brought Matzah Bakery, Shimmy Braun guy. So Yisrael Goldstein is the grandfather of Boider Park. I forgot his name. What was his name? He has a name. Well, known as Boider Park. Oh, first name Boider, last name Park. I got it. So it made me think how many thousands, maybe hundreds of people Yisrael Goldstein brought to the shir. Walks around the Borough Park with the MDY sweatshirt. People come over to him. He goes into Shomer Shabbos. Convinces people. But you don't know. You'll never know. You'll never know who your enik lachar. And that's megalgum schus. Zakai. When you bring, it's another way to look at it. When you do a big mitzvah and you bring somebody to learn Torah, that person hopefully goes and brings other people to Torah if he enjoys it, and that person other people, and all of a sudden you have endless amount of mitzvahs on your account. You have no idea. You come up to Shemaim and says, I have millions. What? I'm not that great of a guy. Yeah, you are. Here we go, Rabbi. So here he goes. Each one says, I used to do the daf. I have no cheshek. I haven't done the daf in years. It's boring. It's too fast. Fell off by Yavamis, it says here. The kids, each one has a geshmak thing. But the front guy, he pulls two guys. He only brought two guys. But those two guys brought many others. And the kids just keeps on going. Like Rav Eli. When Rav Eli was nifter, he had over 1,000 descendants. Two people, Rav Eli and his wife, over 1,000 descendants. So imagine, you don't know. All you need to do is bring two people, and those two people, endless. And here's Yisrael Goldstein, again, if you forgot what he looks like, and here he is with his baby daughter, who's younger than many of his grandchildren. Yeah, he's a grandfather of Ada.
Goes around, comes around.
What goes around comes around. Migalgal. Now, I would like you to look in Taisus real quickly over here. 51 minutes, it's fine. There's a Gevalik in Taisus. You can look inside if you don't have a Gemara. So this is also good for you. I'll read it. So Taisus, it's in the later on the Gemara, but it has to do with us. Afilu ktana shebem leinisis pachs marbarim shana. Nil rashbo the sober looking man the Omar. He also like the mandom and Shabbos daf tzadik vav and beis. Slavchat hainu mekoshish. Who's the mekoshish? Slavchat himself. Umaysa mekoshish betchilas arba'im. It was all the way in the beginning of the desert. Miyad acher ma'isem raglim. Another 2 years into leaving Mitzrayim. The Omar b'medrash. Listen to this. The l'shem shamayim niskaven. Slavchat did this l'shem shamayim. Shoyoimrim Yisrael. Klai was saying, Kivin shenigzar leim shloikans la'aretz me'maisam miraglim. Since there's a gzeira for the whole generation not to go into Eretz Yisrael because of the miraglim, shuvei mechuyavim mitzvahs. Maybe you're part of mitzvahs, and maybe you're not chayiv misa. Omad v'chilul Shabbos. He did it on purpose in front of everybody to show kidei sheyaharig the yiru acherim v'leinasu at soif arba'im shana. Okay, so that's the b'nai slavchad. That has nothing to do with us. The point is that he did it l'shem shomayim. He wanted to show people that you get the death penalty if you are Mechal Shabbos. Says the Chassam Sofer, since he meant l'shem shomayim, you hear this? Since he meant l'shem shomayim, so he was zoiched that his daughters were mentioned l'toiva, and they're mentioned in the Torah. What he did was really bad, and therefore he's mentioned l'ra, chayva. But his daughters were mentioned l'toiva. As a side note, I say this a lot, and it's the story I saw was brought from Shlomo Zalman Auerbach. Some people attribute it to the Chazon Ish, some people to this, but it's kedai to know because, like I said before, I'm very into this. Daf Yomi is about habits. You do it for 100 days, it becomes mamish a part of you. It's hard to stop. It's unbelievable what it does. But on the flip side, just like we have zchus and chayva, and we're talking about Chil Shabbos. So Shlomo Zalman Auerbach went over to somebody on Tuesday and said, "Hey, you're being Mechal Shabbos." He says, "But it's Tuesday, Rebbe." He says, "Yeah, but because you're biting your nails and it's a bad habit, you're not going to stop on Shabbos. You're going to do it on Shabbos also. You're Mechal Shabbos on a weekday." So we have to remember that certain things that we do, bad habits, they have an effect and could be to the point of Chil Shabbos, but I can't control myself. Yeah. So get into a good habit. Replace the bad habit with a good habit. There's many different, biting your lips, whatever it is. Different bad habits could be a Chil Shabbos, he said. So Zakti Gemara. Oh, and one other thing, it happens to do what? About the phone. Some people, I forgot what it's called the phantom thing. They go for the phone on Shabbos also. like it's in their pocket. They feel it vibrating in their pocket. And the Mechal Shabbos, not Chayv Misa, but the Mechal Shabbos in their head. They're thinking about Shtuyot in their head. Yesterday, just in Yonah the Yoma, yesterday they found at Noirvayim 7 Israeli spies, Jewish spies, here in Eretz Yisrael, Russian descent. Who knows if they're Jewish or not? Israelis. How would a Jew do something like that? So somebody was saying, I know that in the Knesset they were saying, they should put them to death. There is a law in Israel that if you spy for another country, you get the death penalty. It's in the rules. Saying you should bring it back, hang them in public, and that's basically what's going on here. It was a deterrence. Tzlafchad wanted a deterrence. The deterrence says, kill me. I want the world to know. You Mechal Shabbos, you get Misa. Says the Gemara, why do we bring this whole Agadata? 2 lines from the top. According to you, that Eretz Yisrael is considered as if you already inherited. So of course, Moshe Rabbeinu should have known that the daughters of Tzlafcha get 2 portions. He wasn't sure if Eretz Yisrael is considered Muchzak or not, or it's considered Roy. Yerusha hilachem abiseichem. Moirash is lashon of. Rabbi Isai behind the sukkah, please lower your voices. Thank you. It's a Merasha to give a Yerusha to somebody else. So I don't know. Do I get it myself or I'm giving over to somebody else? Perhaps it means that I give over and I'm not Yorish, or it means I get it and I give it. So the Akash Baruch said, you're right in both things. It's both. Yerusha lachem. Where does it come from? Like Rabbi Neuberger said, you have to remember it comes from your forefathers. You're here in the schus of your grandfather. That's why you're here. But the problem is that the grandfather himself has 0 koyach to take for himself. He can only give over. What does the word mean, to be a moy? It's a funny word. It's with a mem. Oh. Where is it? To be a moy. It says the Gemara, it should say to be a nu, right? That's normal Hebrew. We're talking to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bring us into Eretz Yisrael. It doesn't say that. It says bring them into Eretz Yisrael. So he wanted to say a pshat, it means in third person. That kid wanted to say pshat, it's the malachim saying HaKadosh Baruch Hu bringing Klal Yisrael. It's not that. It's Klal Yisrael telling the Rebbeinu Shalom, bringing the next generation. We are not going to be zoich to go into Eretz Yisrael. How did they know? They didn't know. They made a nevuah without knowing. They didn't realize what they're saying. They said to Rebbeinu Shalom, we're not going to go in. Tvei Mai, bring the next generation into Eretz Yisrael, because because of the Meraglim, are not going to go into Eretz Yisrael. Turning of the Daf is sponsored by the Belsky family right over here, in memory of Simcha Beryl David Ola Shalom and Avram Moshe. You should only hear Simcha Zim Yishpacha. His neshama should have an aliyah. Innovations I'll see in honor of my uncle Rebbe Chanan Pressman and Fishel. It should be schos for Akiva Simcha Ben Fega. Shil for Rivki Yudis Basi for Chaya. Thank you to Rebbe Stefansky. It should be schos for a year filled with Mazel Baruch Hatzlocha Parnassa Velirfוא. Says the Gemara. Tvei nu lo yidnemar. It doesn't say bring us in. Tvei moi, bring them in. Rabbi say, please remember this for the rest of your lives. Tvei moi, bring them in. The Bnei Slavchad stood in front of Moshe Rabbeinu. Then it seems like they went to Eliezer. They didn't get the right answers. They went to the next rabbi. They didn't get the answer they wanted. They went to the Nesim. They didn't get the answer. They went to the Eidah. That's the Gemara. Is it possible that if you don't get an answer from Galador, you go to the next rabbi in line? It means Rabbi Say, like you see on the screen. It goes backwards. First they went to the Eidah, then they went to the Nesim, then they went to Eliezer, then they went to Moshe. Another pshat is everybody, all 4, Eliezer, Moshe, and Nesim, everybody was in the base of Medrash. And they went in front of everybody, and they asked the question in front of everybody. Is that allowed? If Moshe Feinstein was sitting here, could you ask Chveis Rabbi Schwartz in front of Rav Moshe Feinstein? Could you give kavod to Rabbi Schwartz in front of the Gadol Hador? Does it work like that? In front of the Chavetz Chaim, can you give kavod to your Magichir, to your Rebbe? It's the Chavetz Chaim. So it's a good shaila. Mar Sovar Rabbi Chanan says Cholkin kavod l'Talmud b'makom Rav. It's a tremendous honor to go in front of the Chavetz Chaim and say, "Hey, your Talmud is over here. I'm going to ask him also. I'm giving him honor." That means you have choshev Talmidim. It's always an honor, right? I like to say, the mashgiach from this famous yeshiva in Eretz Yisrael came over and said he watches the shir. Oh, he said, no, even mashgiach watches. They say, no, some guy. It's not the same thing. It's choshev. It's this. So that gives honor to Moshe Rabbeinu. Umar Savar ein cholkin. You don't. Sorry. Yeah. Umar Savar ein cholkin. And the other man says, no. In front of Moshe Rabbeinu, you just go straight to Moshe Rabbeinu. You don't give cover to anybody. The halach is you give honor, you don't give honor. As the Gemara, it's a contradiction. You give honor in front of your Rebbe, not. Says the Gemara, no. It's not a question. When if the Rebbe himself gives honor to a certain Talmud, he says, "Oh, this is my choshev Talmud," so you have the right to go and give honor in front of the Rebbe to that Talmud. The loy poligle Rabbi Yikara, but there's a situation when you don't. The Rebbe never gave honor to somebody else, so Mamela, you don't have the right to do it in front of him either. So, one person that comes to mind is a famous singer. I don't want to get into it, who loved every single yid, but a person that's alive today, Reb Daniel Kalish from Waterbury, is known to love his talmidim on a whole different level. The boys here in Eretz Yisrael that are his talmidim, when he gets off the plane, hundreds of them come to the airport. Why? He's known. There are very few people that are zoicha, that they love every single yid. Says the Rashbam, Moshe Rabbeinu was one of those people, loved every single yid. And in Mela, it's an honor for Moshe Rabbeinu to honor anybody in front of him. If you're a person that doesn't honor everybody, so you have to know, did I honor this guy? But according to Moshe Rabbeinu, loved every yid. I had a bunch of guys from Imre in my house for Shabbos, and they're all Talmidim of Rabbi Kalish. I said, how do you know that he loves you? Maybe he's faking. He says, we also thought he's faking. It's like almost impossible. He says, no, but he's not. And this guy brought a raya because he called him up at 3 a.m. And this guy brought another. They all had rayas. How they knew? My son also went to Imre, to Waterbury. It's just something natural. He knows your first name. He cares about it. It's just something that people, the Bachrim know. When you have that kind of chayach, the Olam knows. Halavai, we should all have it. Says the Gemara, what does it mean? They were very, very smart. They knew how to speak based on what was going on at the time. The famous Maisa, this guy, he had one drush always prepared on Parshas Kairach. He had an unbelievable word in Kairach. Now it was Parshas Noach. How is he going to talk about Kairach? So he dropped his glasses on the floor and he said, like the floor almost swallowed up my glasses. Unbelievable. Which reminds me of word in Kairach. That's what you do every single time wherever you went. But you have to be a chacham, how to know how to tie in this with this. So they knew how to do it. They came to the Beis Medrash, and Moshe Rabbeinu was talking about Parshas Yivamis, Yavam. Parshas Yivamim, shenemar ki yeshu achim yaktov. If a brother dies without children, and you have to marry his wife. Amar loi, im kiven anu chashuvim, lakim shem lachav. It says that Yibum is to establish a name for the brother that died. If we're considered like a brother, like a son, and therefore what? Our mother doesn't have to have Yibum, so consider us like a son all the way and give us a shear of Eretz Yisrael. They weren't like stam women screaming, we want to. They had a good taina in learning. If we are not, you don't consider us like a son, so then our son, our mother, here, the son of Yibum that comes out is in name, it's in honor, it's what's the word I'm looking for? It goes through generations. It's whatever. The son that comes out of this union of a Yavama and her brother-in-law or Al Shem Echav, it's to memorialize the name of the nifter, whatever the lashon is. So they're saying, if we are that, if we are ashamed, so give us nachla. If we're not ashamed, then our mother has to do yibum. Okay. Zok the Gemara. Miyad. Vayakir Moshe is mishpatim lefnei Hashem. And Moshe Rabbeinu said, that's a great taina, so let me bring this to Hashem. Darshani is saying, we are aware of the halacha that a son takes precedence over a girl, over a daughter, and therefore we wouldn't have said a word if we had a brother. We're only saying this because we don't have a brother. As the Gemara of Tanya Bas, if we had it says in a brayso, if Tzlavcha had a daughter, we wouldn't have said anything, which makes no sense because they are daughters. Omer Yirmiyah Samim Kambas, you have to take that word out. It's if our father would have had a son, not if he would have had a daughter. Omer Abai Omar Afilo Bas Leben Leidibarno, even if there was a granddaughter, because as we learned that if a son has a daughter, a granddaughter, then she inherits the grandfather, just like the rest of the brothers. One more word here to lie in Tzidkoni is saying. Why would they Tzidkoni? Shleinisu Ella Lahagun Lohem. So let me just show you real quickly. It says in the pasuk like this: HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells the daughters of Tzlavcha that they should only marry good people. They should marry anybody they want in any shevet. They had a special halacha; they don't have to marry within their shevet. And then the pasuk says, it's very interesting. No. They should only marry somebody from the shevet. So which one is it? They can marry anybody or in the shevet. So Achlam Mishpachas Matavim is a good Eitzah. Eitzah Toiva. Better if you marry somebody from the Shevet, but because of your situation, marry outside of the Shevet. What does it say afterwards? It says that they married people from their own Shevet, L'bnei Dedeim. Says the Gemara, Shlinisu Ela Lahagan Lam. They waited, as the Gemara we're going to see tomorrow, they waited until they were 40 years old in order to get a great Shidduch, and they ended up marrying somebody from their own Shevet, which was great. Rabbi Say, Agut Moed, Agut Yantiv, Yishkoyach for coming tomorrow at 10:30 Be'ezer Hashem. Rabbi Say, we have to bench.